Hi everyone, it's Neo. Um, Welcome to my next video. I would like to discuss something a little bit different today. It's going to segue back to my demon video, the two-parter that I did. But I wanted to elaborate more on how demons can affect our lives. And I do have a link, a research link that I've actually read that explains how they can be welcomed into our lives, sometimes inadvertently, without even realizing it. The thing to remember is that the things that we do in our daily lives, the changes in our lives, our decisions, what we decide to do, can really affect how these things can ruin our lives. You know, being dishonest, cheating on a spouse, stealing. You don't have to actually welcome a demon. You don't have to call them by name. Just the very things that you do every day is a gateway. And your body itself is that gateway, your flesh. And when you commit one of those acts, that's exactly what they want. It's very difficult. It's very difficult, to live your life every day perfectly. I mean, everyone's told a lie, argued, called someone a name, or even said, "Gee, I wish that jerk would get hit by a car." It's the very basis of human nature. It's not something that you or I could really change in that respect. Everyone gets angry, everyone gets mad. But if you look at today's headlines, you'll notice that there has been a growing number of divorces. And most of them are related to spouses cheating on each other. And when you think about it, um, the demonic treats Babylon, this world that we live in, like a playground. And the things that humanity does, even though we like to think we are in control of everything we do, in some ways we are not. You know, it's really sad. You know, when you see, like, for example, and this is not really the best example, but my wife likes to watch that show, John and Kate Plus 8, and I like to watch it too. It's an interesting show. But they've been plastered all over the media, about how John's seeing this 23-year-old teacher, and Kate is having an affair with her older bodyguard, apparently, who is with her everywhere she goes when she goes on tour for their books, And the fame has really gone to their heads, especially Kate's, and you can see the results in their lives. Even in the current episodes, you can see, that their children aren't happy. And you can argue that, well, karma is a bitch. You reap what you sow. But demons are something that you can't always see with your eyes. And they use your greed, your self-indulgence to work their way in. And that's how they control us. If you've ever had an impulse that that isn't yours, anything. It can be something really ridiculous, something really stupid. Fighting with your wife who you've loved for 15, 20, 30 years, and then just one day you just have that thought of, like, gee, I wish, what would it be like if I did this, and then you think, well, gee, why would I think that? You need to sit back and you need to evaluate yourself. That's how they work. Okay? Satan's biggest deception on mankind is to make man believe, man and woman, trying to be politically correct here, that he does not exist. They don't want you to believe they're real. Okay? But they use free will as a tool. Their excuse is, well, he decided to do it. It's not our fault. But those thoughts, those impulses that you are sitting back and evaluating, realizing it's not something you would normally think, you need to realize that these things are using you. They are everywhere. They're not omnipresent like God and Christ, but they are there. Satan uses his legions, his demons, as his eyes. Because without them, Satan would not know what is going on. He is not omnipresent. He cannot know everything without his demons, his foot soldiers, his generals, whatever you want to call them. And that's how they work. And it's quite sad that there are so many people out there today that fall prey to it. And then you look at these people who sit back, who have cheated on their spouse, who have murdered someone, and they tell the investigators or the judge, I don't really know why I did it. It was just something that just kind of happened or popped in my head, and I know it wasn't me. I mean, those are the warning signs, people. You need to be strong. You need to be strong in spirit, in mind. You got to believe. You got to open your minds. You got to understand that there is a battle, a war for you, for me, for everyone. Science has discovered the fourth dimension, and it was on the Discovery Channel. Now, what that means to you and I is they discovered that there is another existence that can't be seen with our own eyes. But they theorize that there are other dimensions or other parallel universes that are existing or coexisting with us. And right now, as I record this, according to scientists, there could be things walking through my apartment that I can't see, and they can't see. But the point I'm trying to make is that they've proven that things exist even though you can't see them. So open your mind, because these things are real. And those impulses you're having aren't always that of a sick mind. Yeah, there are people who are sick. And there are people who have impulses and they are sick and they require medication. But there are a lot of people, and a good percentage of them, that are being controlled to the flesh. And a lot of times the medication doesn't help them. And those are the people who are falling prey to the demonic. And it doesn't get better, it gets worse. And we need to wake up. We need to fight back. And you do that by having faith in yourself, faith in the fact that there is still good out there, that there is a creator, there is a God. And again, I'm not preachy, I don't go to church. I'm not going to sit here and cram Bible quotes down your throat. I'm not that type of person. But there is good out there. All you need to do is open your heart and your mind and ask for help. And your life will improve. Okay? We do have that ability to make decisions. But ultimately, in the end, what is written is written. And the way you are supposed to end up is the way you're meant to end up. Because the beginning and the end are predetermined. What you do in between is up to you. But how you do it determines what you attract. And that's what this physical temple is. It can attract some pretty nasty things. I mean, you can see it in the news. And maybe even in your own life. But check out that link. It's legitimate information. It's not some, half-baked site with copy and paste jobs from, there's some sites out there that the information is based on hearsay. Now, this is legitimate research. So check it out. Tell me what you think, guys. Enjoy the day. It's beautiful here. Don't know about where you live, but talk to you soon. Peace.